There's a point where I stopped really doing anything in Waterpark Simulator. My staff ran the park, the money came in, and I stood there watching it happen. Most reviews of this game will call that a flaw. If you're a dad gamer or a mom gamer with limited time to play, I'm not sure it is. Fun or a time sink dressed up as a water park. That's what this review comes down to, and it decides whether the game is worth your parent hour. I'll get to it. First, what the game is. The developer provided a free review copy of the game. They have no say in the content and nothing gets checked before this goes up. An honest parent review, written by a parent for parents. What is Waterpark Simulator? Waterpark Simulator is a management sim from K-Play Studios. Build a water park and then you run it, and for a good while you run all of it by yourself. The game gives you two camera options, first person and third person, swapped with a single key press whenever you want, mid-job, mid-build, whenever. I spent most of my 22 hours in first person because aiming the cleaning tools is more accurate there and the park feels closer in. But if you'd rather see your character and get a wider read on what's happening around you, that's one button press away. The opening hours are the chaotic ones. You're selling tickets, you're cleaning up the messes, you're restocking the vendors, you're fishing something unpleasant out of a pool. There's no staff yet, so every job in the park is your job and you're moving the whole time. That's the loop. Earn money, spend it on attractions and staff, raise your park rating. Unlock the next tier of things to build. A research system sits on top and gates the bigger toys behind points you earn by running the place well. I played the beach map on normal and I took my park to 5 stars. The pacing of what it hands you is one of the better things about it. New systems arrive at a rate you can absorb. You unlock something, you get comfortable with it, and then it gives you the next thing. It never dumped a spreadsheet on me and walked away. Building your park is where I spent most of my good hours. The painting and customization goes deeper than I expected for the price. There's a lot of control over color and pattern, and you can put it on nearly anything you build. If you like making a place look the way you pictured it, there's a lot here for you. The building catalog itself is thinner. The pools, the slides, the utility buildings, the decorations. There's enough to build a park you're happy with, and not quite enough that two of your parks would look properly different from each other. Custom slide building takes some weight of that since you're drawing the shape yourself rather than picking from a list. There are random events too. A storm rolls in and damages your buildings and the day goes on repairs instead of expansion. Later on, other things show you up that I'm not going to describe because finding out is half of it. There's also a sandbox mode, and it's there from the moment you install the game. All the research done, everything unlocked, every building available from the first second. I didn't spend my time there, so I can't tell you how it plays. But if the free building is the part you want, you don't have to earn your way to it. On performance, it ran smoothly for me throughout. Some minor stuttering here and there, nothing that interrupted anything. No bugs in 22 hours. I got stuck in the scenery once and there's a respawn button in the menu that fixed it in about 2 seconds. Waterpark Simulator entered into early access in August last year. 1.0 landed on the 31st of July 2026 and the studio held the price at $12.99 instead of raising it. I'll come back to that. Waterpark Simulator for parent gamers. In single player, Waterpark Simulator lets you pause anywhere and save anywhere. That's a real pause, not a menu with the park still running behind it. Somebody calls you from upstairs. You stop and the park stops with you. A day in the park runs about 15 to 20 minutes. That's the number that matters. And it matters more because of how the day ends. You don't drift into the next one. You walk back to your camper and sleep. And when you wake up, the clock sits still until you go and open the park yourself. There's a deliberate action between you and another 20 minutes. So the one more run pull is real, and I'd still flag it because one more day is 20 minutes and another day after that is how you lose an hour you didn't plan to spend. But the game makes you say yes to it rather than carrying you along, and that's better design than most sims manage. It's also easy to come back to. There's nothing complicated to hold in your head here. No build orders, no systems that punish you for forgetting how they work. No timers running down while you're away. Your park is where you left it and the jobs are the same jobs. Put this down for a month and I don't think you'd need more than a minute to be useful again. Low volume is fine. The park tells you what's wrong on screen. A dirty pool, a queue backing up, a bin that's full, a guest doing something they shouldn't. Audio helps you catch problems a little faster, but it isn't required. You can run this quietly and lose almost nothing. Which brings me back to the standing around. Once your park is big enough and your staff are hired, there are long stretches where waiting is the right move. Money accrues, research points accumulate. You're watching a park you built work by itself. As a game, that's a flat patch. And I'd be lying if I said otherwise. That's how it went for me, and it came out of how I played. Beach map, normal difficulty, and I hired staff as soon as I could afford them. Hire fewer of them, push the difficulty up, and you'd probably keep your hands on the park a lot longer than I did. But as something to do on a Tuesday night when you're running on 5 hours of sleep, it's the opposite of a problem. The game asks nothing of you for a while and you can sit in it. Both of those things are true and I don't think you have to pick one. On age rating, it's PEGI 12 for moderate violence. In practice, that means shoving guests, tasing people who haven't paid, and a lot of rag dolls flying about. There's no blood and nothing sexual. It reads harsher on the box than it plays, which matters because my kids sat and watched me play this for hours. And not the slides, which I assumed would be the draw. They wanted to spot the smelly guests, the bins that need emptying, the buildings that needed repairing. The park turns into a spotting game, and you can hand that job over while you handle the rest. Nobody designed that as a co-op mode, and it was the most fun the game produced for me. The 1.0 update also added proper online co-op multiplayer mode to the game. I haven't played it, so I'm not going to tell you how it feels. One thing I do want to ask you, if there's a management sim you keep going back to, one that fits the week you actually get, put it in the comments. And if you want reviews written around the hour you've actually got, hit subscribe. A parent review. So where does Waterpark Simulator land on a parent review? It's repetitive. By hour 15, I was doing versions of things I'd already done, and the tasks the museum and the yogi hand you start to read as a checklist rather than a direction. It doesn't run out of content so much as it runs out of new content. There's one piece of friction I want to name properly. Those extra task clients can ask you to research something you have no intention of researching. Mine wanted chlorine. I had better uses for the points, so I never did it, and the task sat on my screen for the next 10 hours. There's no way to dismiss it or tell the game you've made a different call. It just stays there. Small thing that got less small the longer it sat there. Now, on to the checklist. You can pause and save anywhere, at any moment. 30 to 45 minute window gets you a couple of days with your park, each with a clear end. Easy to pick up after a break, nothing complicated to remember. Playable while tired. Most of the loop is routine. No daily login requirement, nothing runs while you're gone. 5 stars is a real endpoint, though Diamond keeps it going after that. Kids can watch and help without needing a controller. One more run or day pull is real, even with the clean stop each day. So, fun or a time sink? It's both, and which one you get is mostly decided by you. The fun is real and it lasts a long time. The time sink is the one more day pull, the repetition once your park runs itself, and the fact that with the sandbox mode, you can keep building as much as you want. What saves it is that the game hands you a clean exit twice a day and never punishes you for taking it. A time sink you can leave whenever you want isn't that much of a trap. On Parent Fit, this is a strong one. Everything on that list points the same way, and the reason is that the game was built around a day you finish rather than a session you abandon. What keeps it off the top mark is the pull. Each day ends cleanly and you start another one anyway. On the game itself, good. Not great because it repeats itself and the building catalog runs shallow before the game does. Good because the loop stays fun for a long time before it doesn't, and because the customization is better than it needed to be. It held me for 22 hours without ever feeling like work. Then there's the price. $12.99 held at 1.0 when the studio could have gone up after early access. But price doesn't change what the game is. What it changes is who I'd recommend to buy it. At 20, this is a maybe. At 13, if any part of this sounds like your kind of thing, it's an easy yes. If you build things and then like looking at them, Waterpark Simulator is $13 well spent. If you want management sim with real depth to its systems, this isn't that, and it isn't trying to be. For me, it became the thing I put on when I don't have the energy for anything that wants my full attention. That's a useful category when you've got an hour and nothing left in the tank. If this was the review you were looking for, leave a like and subscribe if you want more content like this. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.